And well, this match itself isn't part of the tournament, but just a nice little diversion from it. Looks like we're going to be off. Wait for the screens to catch up. Now, I believe this will be with the Swiss flags, so they should all be starting with the candle. Now we've got Trails with my Zelda sprite, Thurwolf with the Iron Knuckle sprite, and everyone else playing as Link. Of course, it wouldn't be a Zelda 2 randomizer race if we didn't start in the middle of a big old swamp. Oh, nice. Early Death Mountain. Always a bit risky to go into Death Mountain immediately. Even if you are right next to the Hammer Cave, you know, it can be tough even getting through that. But it's worth the risk, and it's a little bit less of a risk for high-quality races like these. Rose City Saint is going to be exploring the first couple of entrances. Meanwhile, Scylla picked up the grass tile item, which unfortunately I did not see. But I'm sure the other races will find it just in a second here. Yep, we got Thorwolf picking it up. It's a pea bag. Not an item that these guys are looking for, but it's good to get pea bags early. It's good to get anything early, really. But those levels are very much appreciated. They can help get you started in the race sooner rather than later. Getting a couple attack levels under your belt early can really help out. Trails is in the pea bag cave. Of course, it's, you know, with the randomizer, it's not necessarily going to be pea bag this time, but something not too much more useful, a heart container. Now, you know, all these racers should be able to take on, you know, the entire game with pretty much 4 heart containers or less. Alsoa is a bit newer, so I haven't seen too much of him playing. Oh, so he might have a little bit of trouble with that, but no need to worry about that since there are 5 heart containers right now. RCS picking up the magic key in Heart Container Cave. Now, the magic key or fairy are in the game, in the randomizer's logic. The game will give you either one of those, fairy or the magic key, before you're forced to go into a palace to progress. But just because you're not forced to go into a palace before then doesn't mean you can't. And since this is Zelda 2, the key objective of this game is to defeat Dark Link. He is at the end of Great Palace, or Grand Palace. One of the nastiest palaces in Zelda, purely for the combat and the, you know, jumping and all that sort of stuff required. Not so much in the way of puzzles. And to get into Grand Palace, you not only have to find it, but you have to place all 6 gems from each of the different palaces. In each palace, you get a chance to place 1 gem. And in one of those palaces, you fight a boss that you're forced to get Reflect to defeat. That's Karok. He's the wizard guy who teleports. And the palaces are going to be evenly spread out in east and west, so these racers are looking for the spell to kill Thunderbird, which is Thunder. They're looking for the spell to kill Karok, which is Reflect. They're looking for the raft, which they need to go to the other continent. And they've already found that magic key. The glove is almost always required. And the flute is going to be required in these seats too. Thurwolf picking up, I believe that was Jump. And that's actually a nice one to get because when he finds the town of Mido, he is going to be able to get his downstab. And downstab, yeah, it was Jump in Rauru. Trail's picking that one up too. Jump is going to let you get your downstab, and it's also going to make Grand Palace a lot easier. Now you'll see on Trail's screen, go west to find the flute. That's actually a pretty good hint for Trails. So hints in this game There's no currency in this game, so you can't pay anyone for hints. Instead, you pay them with your time by going out of your way to track down the NPCs that will have these hints. Go west to find the flute is a great hint because the flute is required with these seeds, with this flag set, because there is one palace in the game that you need the flute to reveal. It could be any palace, it could be P1 or it could be GP, but they need to find it. Additionally, the flute could be required to get, and we got Thurwolf picking up his heart container as well. The flute can also be required to get past the River Devil in the east. Sometimes the River Devil is not so required. Sometimes he is. And speaking of the flute, RCS picks it up in Heart Container Cave. Or, no, Medicine Cave. So it's no longer a mystery to him, and if he hasn't found that hint already, which I don't think he has, he's going to be disappointed when he finds it. Alsoas found Palace 1. You might be forgiven for not recognizing it because of the extremely red tile set, this Virtual Boy tile set, but it is in fact P1. You can tell by the pillars and of course the shapes of the rooms, although the enemies are randomized. They don't look terribly random this time. Also has the magic key, so he doesn't even need to pick up that key right there. Having a hard time getting past this Blue Iron Knuckle? Never mind, not a hard time at all. Blue Iron Knuckle is at life 2. Could possibly one-hit KO them with 4 heart containers, so yeah, they don't want that. So that green palace that Rose City Saint just went inside was either Palace 3 or Palace 6. The only way to differentiate them is when you go inside and let's see what the rooms are laid out as. And even that can take a second because they do have some rooms that look the same. But all the other palaces you can tell just from the entrance which palace they are. Also is making his way through P1. He's moving left because the item in Palace 1 opens when you get to the item room by moving to the left. So the room itself opens on the right, and he found it right now. With this magic key, he'll be able to walk right on inside and get the item that lies within. This Blue Iron Knuckle is going to make it a little bit more difficult, though. Thurwolf picking up his down stab. That's going to make his everything faster. Down stab lets you skip a lot of enemies and do a lot of tricks off of certain enemies. Like this Blue Iron Knuckle here. He could, even with a low attack level, Thurwolf could skip his way past or even kill him with this low ceiling by jackhammering him. Alsoa is rewarded only with a magic container. That can be something that comes in handy later. I mean, it's going to come in handy because magic is quite useful in this game, but it could be required later. There is a town called Nukasudo that has an NPC that gives you an item based on whether you have a certain number of magic containers, and that item could end up being required. RCS going into his P-Bag Cave up at the northern end of Western Hyrule here. And Thurwolf in Trophy Cave, he's picking up his boots. That's more useful in this game than in the regular Zelda 2. In Zelda 2 Randomizer, the boots let you walk on any water tile as long as it's not on the edge of the map, like the very, very border. So that lets you walk over rivers or anything like that. So is going to be taking on Horsehead right here. Should be a pretty easy fight. Although he did have very little hit points, so didn't want to take a hit there and die to Zelda 2's Glass Joe. Fortunately, he did not, and he's going to place his first gem. Or not. Alsoa deciding to skip his first gym, that might seem a bit unusual, but it's not quite. Placing a gym this early doesn't reward you very much in terms of how much experience you get. When you get a level, when you place a gem in this game, it levels you up to whatever the next level is. In this case, it would have only given him, what, like 13 experience points, which is pathetic. So Asoa decided to walk out of the palace and come back in so that he could get some more experience by defeating enemies in the palace. He's not going to defeat this Blue Iron Knuckle, though. And then he's going to go back to the gym after he clears the experience requirements for Magic 1 and Life 2 so that he can get Attack 4, because that will be the next level for him then. Having the magic key early like this... Oh wow, Trail's just barely surviving in zombie mode. So scared he's even trying to put out the fire with his sword. I would be too. Yep, that P-Bag is what Alsoa needed. He's going to be placing his gem now, and it'll net him 800 experience instead of 13. So these runners are pretty well equipped so far. They have the magic key, they have the raft. They're definitely still looking for the glove, because the glove can block them in many places in the game if they don't have it. Oh, Alsoa failed to push that Blue Iron Knuckle off screen, so it's going to take a little bit of loss in time, but not something life-threatening for him. Not something that's going to force him into a game over screen, because he's picked up plenty of extra lives so far. And the reason he's picked up extra lives is because the drops that can come from enemies are also randomized in this game with his flag set. Those MOAs that drop fire in the palaces can be annoying for their ability to halt your progress. The fire is actually very damaging, and Trail's making his way past there, even with the 2 MOAs dropping fire on him with pretty good amount of ease. Yeah, I kind of saw that one coming. Sorry, Trails. Thurwolf with his down stab would have had no problem getting past that, or even defeating that Blue Iron Knuckle. Now these forced encounters that you see RCS in, it's a little curious to see RCS in these encounters, because the only thing you're going to find here, are lives or P-Bags or red jars. Or Bagu, who gives you the letter that will let you go through Saria from one end of the town to the other. And the P-Bags on this continent that you find there are actually pretty small, so I don't think RCS would waste his time going in these forest encounters unless A, he was dodging an encounter and he just, took the better of both options. Yeah, he's purposely going into another forest encounter. I believe RCS thinks that he's going to need Bagu's letter to proceed any further, and that might be the case. They don't have Fairy yet, and I haven't been able to track their progress on the continent yet. I thought I'd seen this one, though. But if they're blocked in terms of making their way through the continent, getting Bagu's letter could certainly help out. Another option would be going through Death Mountain, and that seems like the better option to me. I know they found one Death Mountain entrance, and there's a second one somewhere. I kind of feel like going through Death Mountain might be the better choice. You get a lot more experience. You can find one item and find the location of another one for later. Trail's placing his first gem. Good. But, of course, Death Mountain is kind of heck, especially if you don't have your down stab yet. There's something like 50 caves in Death Mountain, so a lot of players aren't going to want to do it, but I'm just crazy like that. Trails has found Mito, so he's going to be getting his down stab. And we definitely see different level up strategies between, say, Alsoa and Thurwolf. Thurwolf's just taking whatever level comes to him, and that seems to be the current meta. Alsoa's carefully managing his experience so that he gets more attack levels. More attack levels means you go faster. Of course, it's a bit riskier. In a lot of games, you'd also want to level up your magic quite a bit because you need to cast Fairy a lot. But they have the magic key, so they don't need to Fairy through doors very often, or ever. So they'll only need to cast Fairy in a few places in dungeons. Here's the flute for Thurwolf, getting it a lot later than the other players, but, you know, he found down stab first. And RCS now has his down stab, so he's gonna be pretty happy about that. Everyone has down stab. Down stab for everyone. Isn't that a wonderful thing? I wish I knew how to press down while jumping. It's just too elite for me, man. Trails in Rudo. I don't think he has a trophy yet, but you see he's going through Rudo to get the hints. Unfortunately, that hint was worthless because he already found the magic jar that Horus had nays with. But he's going to want to pick up this hint right here. Go east to find the trophy. So, Trails, you don't need another hint. Trails found both hints there, so he doesn't need to look for any more. But when you talk to someone and you don't have the item that they're asking for to get a magic spell, they'll tell you in general where the magic spell is. So Trails knows that it's either going to be in one of the caves on the eastern continent, it's going to be on the desert, or it's going to be in Nukasudo at the little spell tower at the end. I think there's one more location. Trying to think, but oh, water tile, yeah, could be there too. So he knows that. So if he ends up missing a spell later on, he knows where to look. So we have we have Thurwolf. I think he's in 6. This is a little risky because you can be fairy blocked in 6 in 2 locations. Depending on what drop you get to for one of those fairy blocks, you can skip through it. But the other, not so much. Trails is now in P3. We know that because Thurwolf's in P6, and, well, purple and green are not the same color. Now, there are 2 glove blocks in both of these palaces. So, again, big risks, especially on Thurwolf's end. He doesn't have a glove, I don't think. He doesn't have Fairy, so there are 4 potential blocks waiting for him. I don't know if I would take this gamble personally, but, you know, could just be that the glove's in here. And, yeah, gonna have a hard time getting past this Doom Knocker without Reflect to strengthen your shield. Got a whole lot of deaths going around in these palaces. RCS is going to be picking up his magic jar, being disappointed. Thurwolf has found the item room, though. That might be the only thing he's really wanting to find in P6 right now. Had a hard time lining up the trick with Ribonak, but he's got more attempts. Trails has also found his item room, and this one's a little bit easier. You just walk through it, basically. And Trails gets the hammer, which is a very cool find. With these flags, Nukasudo is disguised in a forest, which you cut down with a hammer somehow. And of course, the Spectral Rock item is blocked by the hammer. That could be something that's required. And Nukasudo, you know, that's the location of 2 items and a spell. So that's a pretty good item to find. Not necessarily required, but pretty good. Thorwolf only finding a heart container, and he is upping out of here. He did not get what he wanted, so that is unfortunately going to be a little bit of a waste of time for him. Hopefully he can keep his recollection of this palace for when he comes back later. Thorwolf is now going to be the first person to head east. These racers have had the raft for quite a while, but he's the first person. He did not check that first forest for Nukasudo, but he doesn't have a hammer yet, so that might be his logic. It does save more time to just smash the forests and see if Nukasudo comes out than to check every forest. He is in Nibiru, so he's going to be talking to a very, very thirsty woman with a very magic-y grandpa. Put two and two together, and you just like feed her water out of your hands, and she'll have her old man give you power. Fairy. That's a relief for Thorwolf. He could go back into P6 potentially, although there's still the two potential glove blocks, but that eliminates being blocked by Fairy. And you can see him happily jumping through town. He's looking for more clues for items. Probably the glove item is what he's most wanting. Not finding the clues that he's looking for, though. A lot of racers will like to go east early because the P-bags and experience that you get from enemies tend to be quite a bit higher than on west. So that means the earlier you are, the more effective those are at leveling you up quickly. Thorwolf's found Three-Eyed Rock, and he does have the flute, I believe, so he should be able to check it out. He's making a pass for it. Well, there's not too many other places to go, though. Trail's finding his flute. Nice, nice. And RCS... Oh, wow, and there's Death Valley right there, too. RCS finding his boots. And we have P2. He's probably going to do it. There's only one potential glove block here, and it's a pretty easy boss. So yeah, why not? Alsoa getting his raft. We might see Alsoa in the east as well soon. Sadly, the old lady at King's Tomb had no information for him. And Trails, thinking about P6, noping out. That's a wise decision, as we've seen from Thorwolf. So Trails is going to go straight east, or not. And Trails has another plan in mind. We're all picking up a life, and then a magic container. That's why there were those back-to-back fanfares. However, he missed a magic container that these other guys have, so he's only up to 5 magic containers instead of 6. Which could end up costing him a little bit. We'll see. When Trails gets to this palace, and he's probably going to do this palace, he'll have 6. And then he'll be able to access... Oh, RCS getting Spell. That's interesting. What town was this? Yeah, Spell was in Surya, and Trails is about to get it too. So Trails is going to be thinking about Nukasudo quite a bit right now. He's got the hammer. He's got 5 magic containers. Now RCS heading east. He's got Spell. So if Trails were to hop into P2 and try it, he'd have a very good shot at getting everything from Nukasudo right on the first try. He has the hammer, so he's going to be checking this forest tile right here. But the encounter turned him around, unfortunately. just the fairy forest tile. RCS getting his spell from Nibiru. That was fairy, so RCS can be very happy. He doesn't like going anywhere with that fairy. It's like his MasterCard or something. Alcilla, meanwhile, getting hints from Mito. And his downstab. Well, I thought he had downstab right, I guess not. I'm going to bet that Trails tries P2. That's my bet. But Thurwolf noped out of P2, so there must have been a block and I didn't see it. Thurwolf is picking up Upstab, though. Upstab is no longer a hard requirement for any rooms in the game. There are 2 potential Upstab blocks in Great Palace. This will be short GP, so it's not necessarily true that both of those rooms will be in the game. And if you go from left to right, they're not upstab blocks or downstab blocks. So, okay, the child is going to be in the maze, in Maze Island. Easy peasy. RCS also going to be picking up upstab. I don't think... Oh, yep, here goes Trails to get it too. It's just easier to get to those rooms if you have upstab. It used to be in vogue for everyone to skip upstab, but not so much anymore. And this is why the boots are awesome in Zelda 2 Randomizer. You can just go around coves and skip whole sections. Very cool. And Thurwolf is going to be getting his water location item. He is still ahead of these other racers so far, but depending on what's in Nukasudo, Trails could catch up. Alcilla is also now in East, and so he's only a little bit behind these other guys. Thurwolf finding another item cave. This is one of the P-bag caves in East. Trophy. So that is the solution to the hint that Trails got when he was in Rudo. So Thurwolf can now go back and get the Rudo spell, although he's not going to do that right now. There's a lot more exploring he can do. But they don't have Reflect yet, they don't have Thunder, and those are both 100% required spells. So they're still looking for that. The trophy is going to be a big hint. But RCS and Trails are both going to be getting that trophy very soon. Oh, Thurwolf is going back to deliver the trophy. Hopefully the town is close. Yep, everyone pretty much following Thurwolf's lead so far. I don't suspect both RCS and Trails will head back to Rudo as soon as they get trophy, but yeah, RCS looks like he's trying to do it. Rudo has been a required town in the last couple of races we've seen in the tournament, the standard flags tournament. So maybe they're just anxious. Thurwolf picks up fire, and where's Trails going? Well, in this game, in this randomizer, with the flags that they have activated, fire is linked to another spell. So either by casting fire, you'll cast the other spell, or by casting the spell, you'll cast fire. That's because, well, fire is pretty useless in the original game. Thurwolf entering into P1. The other racers have already done this palace. And he will get the magic container that's in this one. And that's the magic container that the other guys were up on him with. Although Trails did not pick up that other magic container. Oh yeah, because he didn't do P2 yet. It's too bad. RCS might be giving it a shot. We'll see. Alsoa is going to be entering P2. Trails is looking for the desert overworld item. There are, I think, 4 desert encounters in the east, and only one of them has anything that relevant. Trails picked up life from Old Kasuto. Not what he was looking for. It's going to take some swings and frustration. So it's looking like we got both of the free items. Trails actually doesn't know that he has an advantage here. Oh, RCS picking up the medicine, so that's going to lead to one of the spells that have been blocked from him so far. I'm thinking RCS might actually up an A, because he has both the medicine and the trophy now. So he can get both of those spells and not have to go back. But not yet, it seems. There's plenty more exploring to do. But yeah, I think Trails might be the only one to have the hammer, or maybe I'm mistaken about that. That's why I keep on hoping he went into P2, because he needs those magic containers to get the item from New Kasuto. Well, might as well make use of the life spell if you got it. Not sure why Trails didn't jump into that water, because that probably would have led him to Maze Island. But I guess he's going to keep on exploring the interior of the continent, and he's got a palace right here. Okay, Trails wanted this bag. It's a 500 point. I mean, I don't blame him, I guess. And there's another forced encounter up there, so that's probably New Kasuto. Nope, not even that one. So it's going to be the next one. Yeah, nothing useful here. Still looking for anything, but Maze Island should be very easy for Trails to find. But he's not going there yet. Probably wants to... It's probably good routing to clear out everything else first. Unfortunately, it's bad routing for Thurwolf going back to the west. He doesn't know yet, but he's going to find the medicine as soon as he goes east again. Yeah, Trails did pass it. I think, well, we got RCS in the island. There are 2 items that are very easy to get here. As well as a palace. It's P4 and they don't have the spell. They need to beat it, so RCS is not going to be going in quite yet. Thurwolf is trying his hand at P3, which the other racers... I think someone's finished P3. No, it's not Trophy, unfortunately. Trophy was revealed to be Fire, although we don't know what... I haven't seen what Fire is linked to yet. I'm sure Thurwolf has tested it. He probably has, but I didn't see the result. RCS is going to go back and turning in Medicine and Trophy to get their spells. It's probably a good idea. Trail's going to continue exploring. He is looking for New Kasuto. I'm not sure it's that wise to search for New Kasuto to this extreme. until you have a few more magic containers, but... Oh, he didn't find Nukusudo. Because they've been to every other town. Also is making his way through Valley of Death, which is actually a good idea, because the palace here is not going to be 3, 1, 2... Okay, this is going to be P5, actually. We know this is going to be P5. So he might be cursing himself. P5 is one of the harder and longer palaces, but there's no need for a glove. So actually, I mean, I would do P5. In fact, I might even look for the item here. Oh, medicine. Medicine's fairy? But they already had fairy. Ah, medicine's not fairy. RCS got the glove? Where from? Sorry, I missed that one. The glove is a very critical item in this randomizer. You're like 99.8% likely to be glove blocked at some point in the seed. Maze Island? Okay, yeah, Trails is going to be happy he's exploring here then. I'm really surprised that Trails has not found... he has not found Nukusudo though, because he looked for it. Alright, so he's picking up his fire from Rudo. Theirwolf is going to find medicine and then kind of kick himself in the butt. Yeah, medicine's going to be required and Nukusudo's going to be required. Unless fire is linked to thunder or reflect. I didn't see what medicine was. Okay, most powerful magic. So they got thunder from medicine. They still need to find reflect. And Trails finds the kid, so that could be it. I don't know if RCS went that deep. But I think at this point, if you're Trails, you just turned in all the spell items. Does he have all of them? Did he get the medicine? I don't think he got the medicine yet, so... I think you just keep on turning in items until you get all the spells you need. If you're Trails. Once you get medicine. Also, continuing to make his way through P5. I'm rooting for him. Unfortunately, the fire gets him. Glove for Trails, a very happy camper. Oh, free life rail, so that's going to be useful in P5. And he found the item room. This is good, except we know it's not, because it's not going to be a glove or a spell item. So, shucks. But, no, there's no but. He got a magic container. There's no but. Because they have all the required items now. So they don't need Nukusudo Lady's item. Sadly. I mean, we don't know for sure if it's going to be Darunia or Nukusudo with Reflect, but we do know for sure they don't need more items. They don't know that. Well, Trails knows it. Or Trails doesn't have medicine. Never mind, nobody knows it. Alright, RCS is going to be taking on Rebanak in P3. This was one of the... oh, there's Trails' medicine. Trails, you know, I suggest you start turning stuff in. I think he's going to go to new. I think he's going to go to Darunia to turn in the child and then keep on walking. That was a quick gem for RCS. P3 under control. That's alright, Jocelyn. Yeah, it caught me up too. Like, someone has to know that they don't need more items. But no. Not quite. Alright, Trails has found New Kasuto. He's not gonna probably be able to get. Yep, can't quite get the Magic Tailor Lady's magic item yet, but he doesn't really need it, so that's okay. He might need the spell though. It's a decent chance. 50-50. Yep. New Kasuto required, unless fire is linked to reflect, and I just didn't notice. I don't think anyone else has the hammer. If no one else has the hammer, then they do still need items. RCS does. Everyone. Oh, Thur picked it up. Thur picked up the hammer. That's good. Yeah, I think the hammer was in here. So that's good. Trell should know he doesn't need to come back. Well, yeah, he should know that. All right, hammer get for RCS. Trails. I think he's making the drop off to Darunia. And he's going to get an unuseful item, unfortunately. Ah, cool, up an A. He's going to go for the 2 possible spells instead of the 1 possible spell on the... He's got 2 spells he can turn in on the west and 1 spell he can turn in on the east. So he's taking the more probable course of action. Ah, yeah, shield is going to be in Darunia. I haven't really been paying attention to fire when people have casted it, so we'll see. And now RCS is in P6. I think they're all from P3. They're all going to finish this one off. He's got the glove now, nothing to be afraid of. Makes sense then. Well, fire life is pretty good. Makes it pretty difficult to die late in the game. Oh, Thurwolf. The Iron Knuckle just didn't have it in him. Just couldn't make that jump. Just like, what's the point? Trail's now entering P3. Gonna finish off. Yeah, I think these racers are trying to finish off the Western Palaces at this point and just move their entire game to the east. Also, looking like he has a little bit of catching up to do. I think he's lost a little bit of time relative to the other racers since the last time we checked in. There goes Rebenek for Thurwolf. So that's going to be another gem placed. Take your levels where you can get them, even if they're life levels. Unless you're about to walk into another palace right away and you know that. And in which case, you might want to just hoard the experience. That's hoard with a D. Alright, Trail's finding his Rebenek. Fred? It's just fun to say. Although in this case it's dig, shake. Drain the swamp, dig, shake. Drain the swamp. He loves those swamps. They're everywhere, usually. Not so much here, in the beginning. Yeah, on Thurwolf's screen you can see one of Dig Shake's famous swamps. Thurwolf approaching. P6. Not gonna leave until he's killed Barba. Considering RCS is still in here, it looks like the palace is a bit long. Bounce the particle... Bounce the graviton particle beam off the main deflector dish. That's gotta be from Star Trek. Alright, Trails, you've got it all. Now go forth, my son. Don't collect a single other dang item. No? Who else has particle beams and deflector dishes? Oh boy. Yeah, you're not getting me to yell, con. You're not gonna get me to do that. I got a neighbor. Trail's picking up fire anyway. Not really sure why. Did he miss a spell? Did he miss Fairy? Couldn't have missed Fairy. Fairy was in Nibiru. You got it all, Trails. Just go. Well, at least he has cheap life now. Your deflector dish? That's a satellite dish, I think. As far as doing art, that would be kind of a me thing. Dig Shake is a programmer, and you tend to be either left-brained or right-brained. There are a few people who can do both, but the thing is, Dark Link is just the Link sprite in a different palette. So I suspect, unless you did something very special, the NES wouldn't have enough memory to do that. So I'm all about deflecting alien mind control beams, okay? Especially if you deflect it and it reflects right back at them. Alright, RCS found Barba. Finally! That was a hell of a PAL 6, I think. I wouldn't mind having a few alien servants. That'd be pretty sweet. Barba fighting... RCS fighting Barba with Attack 4. It's been 50 minutes and these guys are still at Attack 4, unfortunately. Except for Alsoa. Alsoa's got Attack 5. And Alsoa now finds he's missing Glove. Yeah, you definitely want to search up the item locations as best you can before you start digging in Glove Block Palaces. Well, yeah, see, there's a limited amount of memory in, I don't know about, I'm not a programmer, I don't know about all Zelda games or all NES games or whatever, but there's like 2 pages of graphics that the NES can load up at the same time for Zelda 2. And it's already loading up Thunderbird for GP. So it basically reuses Link's sprite for Dark Link and just makes it all black. There's a bunch of other enemies in there too, you know, your unicorn heads, your fireballs, you know, your Focas, your spicy chickens, all that sort of stuff. So all that is still loaded up when you're fighting Dark Link. So you'd have to rewrite the encounter so that you can ditch those old graphics to make way for new graphics. And then you'd have to write completely different movement patterns and stuff for Ganon, and it's not something I could do. No flying Ganon. That just looks silly. Trails here is beating his Rebenak. Thurwolf, well, he's beating his Rebenak on the way to Barba, so Trails is also in P6. Also is in P6. Thurwolf's in P6. RCS just left P6, and now RCS is working on P2. Thurwolf had noped out of P2 earlier, but there's nothing stopping RCS. I don't believe there are any Stalfos in the GP Palace tile set. It's a different tile set than most palaces. That's why so far in the randomizer you can't get Focas in normal palaces. I'm gonna guess that's why. Because you gotta remember, this was originally a Famicom Disk System game, so that was a different side of the disc. Alright, we have Barba defeated by Thurwolf. RCS going in for the item in P2. Not quite sure why. Oh, was he hoping for the hammer? No, he's got the hammer, doesn't he? Tracker says he does. So yeah, you're saying to change T-Bird's sprite to Ganon and put Ganon's sprite over Astolfo's? I mean, I think there's probably... I mean, it wouldn't be T-Bird's sprite anymore, really. But yeah, there's no Stalfos in GP. So you'd have to replace the Focus or something. Toaster, I'm not... Probably not gonna do Rambo. No promises. I kind of feel like if I'm gonna go to the trouble of making like an entirely new boss, I'd want it to have new movements, because otherwise it's just a skin. So that's you know, gonna be a dig shake thing if he ever wants to do something like that. It's possible. There's Zelda 2 mods that have slightly different enemy movements and stuff. What, does it just flip the disc? Does it like is it a motor and it pulls your disc out and it flips it over? All right, RCS has finished off Helmet Head. Good stuff. He's down to just I think he's got Karok left and Guma. And if I remember correctly, Guma's not too far. I'm gonna say RCS is in the lead. I'm gonna say it. The Wolf's also working on P2 though. There's no one else who, I mean... No, I'm not going to make any promises about sprites today. I've got other hobbies too. Definitely should put Dig Shake's face as Thunderbird. That sounds like a good plan. I mean, I guess I could do that, actually. That would be kind of funny. Alright, Elsoa... Does he have the glove yet? He needs it. He's like blocked in a lot of palaces without the glove. Not on the tracker, so guessing he doesn't have it yet. RCS is looking for Nukasudo. Trails did have a little bit of a hard time finding Nukasudo, so it might take him a little bit. Barbecue. Sorry, I already ate. If I knew there was going to be barbecue, I would have waited. Well, excuse me, princess. That's as loud as I'm going to say that. It's only so annoying that I can be. Alright, got a kid from Darunia. That is not going to help out RCS. He needs the hammer. Well, he's got the hammer. He needs Nukasudo. But if he checks Darunia, that could help Trails catch up a little bit. Do it. Do it, Victor. Ah. I like it spicy, maybe sweet and spicy or something like that. Thurwolf finishing off Helmet Head, and Trail's making barbecued now, because it's Barba. Ninja Guy and Rando would be pretty sweet, actually. Yeah. I think that would run into a lot of the same problems that, you know, people doing like Zelda, Mario 3 Rando are coming up with, which is kind of like the platforming is kind of the point of those games. And if you're not changing the individual stages, then yeah, it's basically the same game. So you'd have to do like all sorts of calculations and stuff, and like, oh, what jump is possible? I'd love to see it. I would love to see that. And what's that really good streamer with a cowboy hat who plays Ninja Guy? And I'm sure he'd rock that. Beard? Barba means beard, huh? I would not want to eat barbecued beard. You're insightful as always, Jocelyn. Alright, Thurwolf making his way through P5. This is P5, so the only thing standing in your way in P5 is like enemies and rooms and rooms and rooms and rooms. No blocks. Oh, I guess there's a fairy block potentially. A lot of people get barbecue sauce in their beards. That also seems disgusting. Alright, we got P5 on RCS's side. So this is one of the last two palaces he needs to finish to be good to go. Some people have extra spicy facial hair without food products. They just got a good beard. Karok may have a beard. Karok, this enemy that Trails is fighting, but he hides it oh so well. Or maybe his robe is a beard. Like, what if it's all just one beard that he wraps himself up in? Kind of looks like a beard, doesn't it? Well, powerful though the wizard wrapped in his own beard might be, he did fall this time. I'm not saying that, Jocelyn. I would get, like, probably hate mail or something. Wow. I don't even know. Romancer, I like that. Go, RCS and Thurwolf! I want you to defeat this but ugly guy, Guma. Do it. Find him and destroy him! Show us your power! They're in similar rooms, not quite the same ones, though. See? Victor knows. Victor is bilingual at least, and is also a musician, so that makes him. I think that gets him all the ladies everywhere. Also, he plays Zelda 2 Randomizer, so that helps too. I'm bilateral, yeah. I hope so. Hope you're not a starfish or something. Or a sponge. Alright! Show them you've got notochord, Thurwolf. Show them the results of your bilateral symmetry. I was saying you should show him his backbone. If that wasn't obvious. I mean, a notochord's not. It's like a primitive backbone. It's not exactly the same thing. You get it. It's what happens. Never mind. Hey, I like invertebrates as much as the next guy. I mean, probably. Alright, so Thurwolf had just finished off Boss Guma, and now RCS is going to finish off his Boss Guma. He should have no problem. He's in a very good, well, he was in a good groove. Now, he's got to get Boss Guma out of the corner. I'm not doing the tick. I'm not doing the tick. You guys can make me try to yell stuff. It's not gonna happen. Nice. RCS is gonna pick up Magic 7. So he's only got 6 magic containers here. Magic 7's gonna make sure that he's gonna be able to take on Thunderbird. You know, you want to have your Thunder cast without, you know, losing all of your magic, because Reflect is pretty good. Reflect is pretty good against Thunderbird, because I think it, you know, people have been saying casting Reflect makes your hitbox smaller, and I think they're right. It also lets your shield block his fire attacks. Oh, I was like, Thurwolf had finished? He's just dropping into a GP to dodge some encounters. No, I didn't see the live action one. No, but I should. Because that was a thing. And I never saw it. Is there a live action tick now? That's like 20 years old. Alrighty, Trails making his way to Helmet Head. I think it was a little bit of a long P2, but nothing he can't handle. Also is fighting his Ribonek. He's still a bit behind the other players, but he's got a sweet tunic color, so that makes up for it. Trails, why are you looking for items, man? You know you don't need them. I guess he wanted that magic container. I guess if he's going to dig out any item from any palace, digging out the magic container from P2 is what he would want to dig out. So good on that. You know, 5 magic containers is not a lot to go into GP with. Thurwolf and RCS doing a little high five and then separating ways. And I don't mean like separating curds in the way. I mean, like, they're going in opposite directions. They're not making cheese. I'm making cheese. Cheesy jokes, that is. Speaking of cheesy jokes, we got Jocelyn in the house. She is our, he or she is our restreamer today. They're all dropping back into GP, wishing he could go through that force field. We haven't had force fields in a Zelda game in a long time. It's been like since Ocarina of Time since there's been a good force field that'll kill you. I guess there was one in Wind Waker, but that doesn't kill you. Oh shoot! I meant, oh my gosh, sorry, I'm tired, guys. I apologize. Yes, of course, Speed Gaming is restreaming. Jocelyn's tracking. My bad. Oh my gosh, I'm so silly. Just so used to the tournament. Oh man, Trail's finding the wrong room. That room does look quite a bit like the boss room in P2. The seed is now confirmed according to RCS. When he finds that room, it's basically, you know, it's a confirmed seed because he'll always find it. Although I don't think he did this time. We got some Yu-Gi-Oh fans in the audience here. I guess Yu-Gi-Oh and Zelda 2 Rando are similar in that you have to believe in the heart of the cards to really get anywhere. You know, the randomizer has a heart. And that's how you know when to look for the item in P5. Which they didn't have to this time. Thankfully. Alsoa is exploring P6. Alsoa does not have a glove yet, though. It's in a pretty obvious place. You should go get it. Glove is required in this palace. Alright, we got Trails fighting Helmet Head. This is not going to take very long. Unless Helmet Head turns out to be the Dark Souls of Zelda 2 bosses. Which he's not. I bet these guys wish they could cast Exodia on the GP force field. Cast Exodia, summon Exodia, my mistake. Trails is going back into P2. Not sure why. He already got the item. Okay, yeah, just a little bit more experience to the next good level. I see. Go for it. It probably would have been faster to just walk outside and get an encounter and cast Thunder. Because he's killed all the stuff in these rooms. That's probably... Oh, well, he got a P-Bag. Nice and lucky. He's at attack 6, which puts him in first place in terms of attack. Attack is an important level to have, just in general, but it's especially useful in GP against Thunderbird. Bobo can do whatever he wants. I would do an Abobo sprite, but Abobo is big, and I can't make Link bigger. Just, it won't work. Well, he has a son, so maybe I'll do that. Wow, that new Kasuto. I'd actually never seen its location before. Pretty messed up. It's a nice place to put a town, though. I mean, if I had a town, I'd want it to be at the end of a cave that nobody could get through, near the ocean, completely isolated. It sounds really nice. Also, unfortunately, taking a little dip in the lava. I imagine those fairy wings burn quite fast. Also, still trying to get through what is this? Yeah, it's P6. Still trying to get through P6 without the glove, but the glove is in Maze Island. It should be... Maze Island should be one of the... one of the things you always check in a randomizer, unless you get super lucky. It's just so easy to get the items from there, and there's a palace there too. So why not? It's also very easy to find, usually. But having not been there, he doesn't have the glove. Or the kid. So, he's making this a little too difficult for himself. Oh, he does? Oh, okay. Okay, we're good then. That's good. RCS feeling the pain of invisible Moas, which go unseen without the power of the cross. There's plenty of chat memes in here. In fact, in Zelda 2 Randomizer, the Power Glove is so bad. It's the thing you always need, pretty much. And it's always in, like, the worst place. Except for this time. This place is okay. RCS, he's got the right idea. Going through caves that lead nowhere. There's another one, and that leads where he wanted to go. But he's not going to go there this time. He's going to open it instead, unfortunately. Because I believe he is still looking for Reflect, and he needs to get to a new Kasuto. He just went through the wrong nowhere cave. Thurwolf has been to New Kasuto, though, so Thurwolf could take the lead here. And Trails is on his last palace, P5. So these racers, they're all closing in to GP pretty soon here. Yep. No, actually, I mean, there are some great strategies for using jump. I like the jackhammer strat. It's a little risky, but it's maybe the fastest way to kill him. And then, this is pretty good. Also is getting 3 or 4 hits per cycle. That's pretty good. Thurwolf had places last gym. And making it look like he's getting experience for clearing barriers. Yep, so when he found New Kasuto, he got what he needed, and he beat Palace 4 very quickly, and he is the first person into GP. I believe Trails will be behind him, but it'll be a number of minutes. Then RCS will be entering third. Yeah, at this point, P-Bag's drop doesn't really matter. You're not going to get another level, so who cares? Just leave him behind. And really, there's only one enemy you have to kill utilizing your attack level in GP, and that's Thunderbird. With Dark Link, it doesn't matter what your attack level is. All right, Thurwolf taking on the bird himself. Also getting a spell that Thurwolf is using right now, Shield. Yeah, I prefer jumpless myself. There's a really good jump strat where you basically stand in the very middle of the platform and like jump straight up and mash left and right on the D-pad, crouching. So left down, right down, that is. And you just like mash the attack button and you can kill it really fast, but it's pretty risky because fireballs just fly into your face. I don't really do it myself. I do it pretty much the way Thurwolf is doing it, and about as effectively, maybe a little bit less effectively. Unfortunately, Thurwolf does take a death, so that's going to allow Trails to pull a little closer. He's got all 6 of his gems placed. RCS just found Nukusudo, so he's going to be going into P4. Once he finds Karok, he'll be able to get in GP, but it's probably going to be too little too late, unfortunately. If this race is between any two people at this point, it's between Trails and Thurwolf, but Thurwolf definitely does have a big advantage. Trails is probably going to want to gamble in GP, but he doesn't have any way of knowing that he's behind. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to get, like 3 hits and 3 hits, left and right. But I think you can get 3 and 4 if you're Unos. This is a battle royale, I suppose. They're all trying to win. This is the world record speed that they're racing for this seed. Yes, nobody has ever gotten a higher lower time on this seed ever. Even if they take like 10 hours, they'll still be the fastest. Soa pushing his way through P2. Once he finishes this, he'll only have Karok to fight. Unfortunately, he has found his way to the fake boss room. And Trails is making his way through GP. Will he be able to defeat Thurwolf, even given the huge advantage that Thurwolf has? That remains to be seen. I've got my money on Thurwolf. It's like a 3 or 4 minute advantage here. And RCS is on his final boss, Karok. Well, before the final boss. Well, that was fast. Thurwolf finds Dark Link, and that's going to be it. Let's see the fight. It's an easy fight, as long as you know the trick, which is just to go in the corner and stab like a madman, or, strategically. Either way. That's it. Good game. Thurwolf wins with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 1 second. Well done to Thurwolf, and he'll be joining us in the channel as soon as we can get him in here. Let's see. Let me go find him. How do these invites work again? Okay, yeah. There we go. He's got an invite now. Alright, Trails is going to be taking on Thunderbird again. He did take a death, like Thurwolf did. But he's got RCS on his heels. However, it was a pretty straightforward GP, so Trails will probably... Oh, wow. RCS caught up. I guess so, that death to Thunderbird was quite costly for Trails. Hello, Thurwolf. Congratulations on your victory here.
Thanks. How's everybody else doing?
Well, Trails is right behind you. I mean, it seemed like a pretty straightforward GP after Thunderbird, so I'm sure he'll find Darklink pretty fast. And RCS is fighting Thunderbird right now. Alsoa is, a little bit behind. He just found Nukusudo, and after that he's got P4 and then GP.
And those together are pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nukusudo, though, I spun like 10 minutes just wandering around aimlessly trying to think, where in the world is this thing?
A magic pass-through cave to the idyllic the idyllic coastal village of Nukusudo.
It looked very vanilla. You just kind of pop out and, there's a little forest and bam.
Yeah, I guess in that way it is very much like vanilla. Different end of the continent, but pretty rad little place. I wouldn't mind living there.
Seemed peaceful.
But yeah, that was one of the reasons you won. It took RCS forever to find Nukusudo. And although Trails had the hammer long before everyone else, I think it took him a while to find Nukusudo as well.
Yeah, I kind of prioritized going back to get that hammer just because I was running out of spells, and I'd like to find Reflect before finding 4, and then that didn't really happen.
Yeah, I think you kind of went into P6 early, and that didn't pan out too well. But you ended up making the time back.
I mean, I just wanted to kind of figure out what palace it was, and then once I saw it was 6, I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of go until I get stuck, and then I'll leave. And I got the item out of there, and I'm like, okay, well, it's most likely glove blocked at this point, so I'll come back later.
Well, we have Trails' victory, second place victory, with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 19 seconds, and we'll see if he wants to come in to chat with us as well, Thurwolf. And RCS is in a room that's pretty close to the end. So yeah, what would you say your feelings on this race in general are?
I mean, the spells were kind of the holdup. Glove was kind of free. I wish I had gotten that first before going back west the first time. I mean, it wasn't bad. You don't have to go into Death Mountain. I mean, the magic pass-through cave was probably the worst thing about it.
Oh yeah. That seemed pretty nasty. That's always my least favorite thing, because the pass-through caves, they send you to a different end of the continent potentially, and now your exploration is you're basically starting over until you get reoriented.
Yeah, and I'm not really that great on knowing all the east pass-through caves. I know, Bonner Pass, because that's simple enough, but the others, I'm fuzzy on.
Yeah, I think 2 of them are almost identical, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I always try to avoid the pass-through caves over there, too. I avoid all the pass-through caves, honestly. I was hoping, when I saw RCS looking for Bagu's letter in the beginning of the game, I was hoping that meant we'd have a pass-through Death Mountain. That's my favorite.
I have not seen that very often, and it's always very disappointing when it happens.
Oh, it's not disappointing for the viewers, though.
It depends on how easy a death mountain we're talking about here. Like 5 caves worth, or is it just, next door?
5 caves if you go the right way.
I see you're a little bit sadistic here.
Just a little bit. Oh my, RCS has every spell. I guess most of you guys have every spell or near about, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the spell items themselves were really easy to find. They were no problem.
Yeah. Actually, when you got a trophy and you turned around and you went to Rudo, I quickly, after that, like 2 or 3 minutes after that, saw RCS getting medicine. And I was like, well, this is going to end up costing Throwwolf, going back potentially twice to pick up spells. But it didn't end up costing that much.
I knew with the boots I had like a quick path down there, so I wasn't overly concerned, and I was hoping Trophy would be relevant. And I wanted to go see if I could get Hammer real quick, which I actually was able to, but
that's good.
Didn't really help.
Was there a hint to where Hammer was?
Yeah, there was a hint for Hammer in one of the very early towns, so I had that marked real early.
That's good. I think RCS might have gotten a little lost. Maybe. So how are you feeling on the standard tournament so far? How have you been doing, Throwwolf? I'm sure.
Well, I made a comment earlier that this race had every single opponent I've faced so far in the tournament. It was literally me versus my 3 opponents. And I'm 1 and 2.
So it's like boss rush mode, right?
Yeah. Because I was against RCS first, and he knocked me down. Then I was against Alsoa, got a win. And then Trails, who beat me. So I'm at 1 and 2.
Well,
I got a little revenge on the weekly, though.
Yeah, that's great. All right, RCS fighting is Dark Link here. So he should be finishing any second now. All right, and we got the the same corner strats that almost everyone uses. And welcome to the channel, Trails. Congratulations on your 2nd place.
What's up, man? Thank you.
GG Trails.
GG, Mr. Wolf. What was everybody's biggest hang-up in this seed?
Nukasudo.
I think I got really lucky with that. I took like the magical cave by accident the first time.
That was my last magical cave to take. I even found the dead end one.
Yeah, I found that one towards the end because I didn't know hang-up was Three-Eyed Rock and VOD. I didn't see that. I didn't know it was so easily accessible from the raft tile. So I wandered around a little bit looking for that.
Oh, yikes.
But all in all, it was a pretty free seed. I don't know.
Also has found Thunderbird. Looks like he's having a little bit of a hard time. He's trying an unusual strat where he's just standing in the middle and slashing left to right, not with jump.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him do that and it worked really well. But right now, I mean, I don't know. Life 7 was kind of trash. Thunderbird hits like a Mack truck. I almost game over to Thunderbird.
I was very sad to actually die to Thunderbird my first try. It's very disappointing.
I think everyone's died to Thunderbird in this race. Maybe not RCS.
Yeah, I had the death abuse, and then yeah, the bird took me out the 2nd time. But luckily enough, I third time.
Yeah, I was pretty entertained when I saw that 2nd pass-through cave that led to a dead end. I think that's pretty interesting. We had 2 pass-through caves that lead to dead ends on the east.
I found one of them.
Oh yeah, well I mean, I consider the the Nukasudo one to also be a dead end, even though it led you to Nukasudo.
That was most definitely required. Didn't it have the reflect spell in it or something?
Yeah, it was absolutely required. Yeah. I also, unfortunately, did game over to Thunderbird. His unusual strat's not quite refined yet. But,
I've seen him pull it off
recently. Yeah, I think it might rely a little bit too much on the luck of where the fireballs go, though.
If he's got a lot of magic containers and if he's got a lot of magic containers and the shield spell, it might work out better. But I know I didn't have shield spell, so
yeah. All right, welcome to the channel. Congratulations on your third place finish, RCS.
Congratulations are in order for that.
Hey, you know what? Even making it through a randomizer seed in its own way it's a victory, right? Because we all win when we play Zelda 2 randomizer.
Yeah, that is an optimistic, positive way to look at it, I guess. I really, one of the things that really bothered me at the end of the game was, I knew I was looking for Nukasudo in a really weird, isolated place. And I took the wrong cave first, and I wound up in another weird, isolated place that was full of forest tiles, and that sort of felt like a big troll to me.
Yeah, little did you know that, well, at that time, that Nukasudo was in a very similar place. Just coastal.
I had a pretty good feeling it was. That's why I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool Nukasudo.
Yeah, worst ever. I mean, for the guys who found it before me, good job. I mean, that was going to be the last thing I tried.
Yeah, it was my last thing to find. It took a while to figure that out. Last cave.
It was actually the very first thing I found.
I tend not to do well in with seeds that have overworlds that are as wide open as the West was. That makes me very uncomfortable.
No boundaries.
You're right, exactly, and that's sort of the one of my sort of approaches to most seeds is to try to follow the borders, and I didn't leave anything behind, and I explored the West in what I would consider to be a timely fashion. Like it went okay. It was just uncomfortable. Leaves you with that bad taste in your mouth. And that's why I have a mint right now. And that Nukasuga location was something else. I mean, I've been a part of way worse than that, but that's kind of memorable. I really could have used reflect fire. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
As could we all, I'm sure.
I gambled in 4. As soon as I got to that first room with the 3 drops, I dropped all the way to the bottom. I didn't even check the 2 other rates.
Interesting.
Well, right of the very top room led to the left of the bottom room, so I don't know which was quicker.
A few moments ago, Alsoa finished off his Thunderbirds, so he should be finishing this seed pretty soon too.
Yeah, I took a really long cut through GP. If I had just gone one room left, seen the Eon drop, I would have been golden, but instead, I backed out, went back to the fairy room, and proceeded to waste another, I don't know, probably less than 5 minutes, but it felt like an eternity.
Yeah, actually, if you'd found Nukasudo, I mean, of course, much faster. There was a point toward the end where you had cleared your 5th palace before anyone else did. So, I guess Trails at that point had the exploration advantage, and Thorwolf must have also had an exploration advantage at that point, and that's what caused that. But yeah, it did seem like you had the lead for a second.
Yeah, I felt pretty good to a point, and then when I realized I'm looking for Nukasudo and I can't find it, that's when no one feels good. I felt like I might have had a leg up because I saw the hint for Hammer being in 3, and that was the one you had to go a little bit out of your way for in Saria with the bot. So, that made me feel good. Otherwise, there would have been more of a full clear effort in spots. Didn't turn out to be enough of an advantage. I'm assuming that Thorwolf and Trails probably also got that clue based on their times.
Yeah, I got it real early.
I got it after I already got the hammer.
Okay.
I already went through 3 and got the hammer, but before I got that hint, so it was kind of a beat hint.
We got Alcilla fighting his Dark Link here. And I mean, I already know from the stream chat that, you know, he finished, but we'll see that in the video in a second. Yes, there he goes. Dark Link goes down, falls to the floor like his the strong nuclear forces or his electromagnetic forces have just disappeared, and he falls to the center of the earth. Not a good way to die.
He's getting much better at this game, man.
Oh yeah, he's, you know, considering how new he is to the randomizer, he finished, you know, pretty quickly, pretty confidently.
Yeah, I'd say a time of 1:39 for him here is testament to being a competitive player.
For sure. Hey, welcome also.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you know what? That's a really good time for someone who's fairly new to the randomizer.
I managed to get that sub 40 by about sub 140 by about 2 seconds. I'm okay with that.
Nice. So about how many seats have you played so far?
Maybe 20.
It's pretty good getting sub hour 40 in 20 seats. I'd say your, you know, Magic 8 Ball is coming up with good predictions here.
I just want to point out that Trails would call 20 seeds a good work week.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
So, how about that new Kasuto also?
I'm okay with it being where it was because I didn't need it until the very end. So the fact that the only thing there was Reflect and at P4 is my last palace anyway, I'm just happy I found it so quick when I went back east.
Yeah, and it's nice that 4 was on the east, so you didn't have to go too far out of your way. Between 4 and GP.
3 and 6 were definitely not the correct play to make at all.
A lot of racers went into 3 and 6 early and got blocked, and then went into the other one and got blocked. It was kind of interesting.
Well, you could get the hammer without the glove.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get the magic container in 6 without the glove.
Yeah.
How do we get part? Whatever it was. Did anyone go to Death Mountain?
Someone did at the beginning, right? Like, stepped in. RCS, you stepped in the very, very, very beginning.
I only looked in the first 2-3 caves and pieced out.
Yeah.
I also got another goal accomplished, which was get into GP before everyone else is done.
Yes, you did. Well done at that. You know, I think at this point, you know, when I was 20 seeds in, I probably had, you know, another, you know, 30 minutes on top of the time that you were putting in today. So, very nice.
Well, shout-outs to Tony for being 3-0, though, too. That's awesome.
I got
congrats.
lucky against Kulain. I hope I get lucky against Kulain again. I'll need it.
And you might be facing with Air or Dig Shake.
God help me.
Yeah, and if I'm lucky enough to beat Victor, that would put me at 3-0 as well.
Yeah, that'll be cool. You know, see some more 3-0 homies. I'm sure that Dig Shake will be 3-0 when he does his race this week. Or did he already do it?
No, he faces Amazing Toaster, and you know, Dig Shake will have to be every bit as good as he's capable of being to beat Toaster. Toaster is really, really competent at this game.
Very true.
Yes, he is. I'm happy that between him and Thurwolf, I face Thurwolf because the two of them are basically equal in some aspects. But I haven't watched enough of Toaster, to be honest.
Thurwolf was living rent-free inside my head for a while. So he has that going for him. He's got a little bit of that, you know, mystique. You know, not to take anything away from anyone else. But I can't complain about what happened to me tonight. You know, I've been really running hot all August long. I was sort of due for a little bit of a downer. It doesn't bother me.
I just said earlier I needed revenge against 2 of these guys, so I'm pretty happy.
Exactly. The revenge tour.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Thurwolf was telling us earlier that all 3 of his opponents in this weekly were his opponents in the tournament.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
awesome, isn't it?
Boss rush. And he came out on top, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, he usually does, man. Thurwolf's a really good player.
Thanks, Trails. You're no slouch either.
I feel bad for his next opponent in the tournament.
Yeah. Well, any last comments on anything? Any shout-outs or anything?
Thanks for the commentary and, you know, the restream, tracking, and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, GG to everybody, and thanks to Speed Gaming and Drunk Fox and Nightcrawler for tracking and commentary.
Yeah, thanks everyone. This must have been a good race to watch. You know, less than 15 minutes, I think, separated first and last. So that's a good race.
Yep, we had some back and forth. We had some memes in the chat. It was a good time. So thanks to Speed Gaming for hosting us, of course, as always. Thanks to Drunk Fox for tracking. And, of course, couldn't do it without our racers. I mean, that'd be a pretty boring race. So have a good night, Speed Gaming. Take care.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.